Now, every so often, I like to show you guys my statue slash figurine collection. I have a lot of them. I count them myself. So far in counting, I have over 109 of figurines and statues in my room. And I don't make videos about every one of them. Only ones that I deem to be special. Like if it's the Shadow the Hedgehog one over there, or my Bioshock Big Daddy, or my Jack and Daxter statues. They're the ones I deem special. The ones that cost me a true penny, pretty penny. And I believe they're rare and magnificent. So, this one is from a very special game I like. You guys know I did an anime review on Nier Automata, right? But what if I told you that Nier Automata is just one of the latest entries into this series? You know I'm a big fan of Yoko Taro here. And before there was Nier Automata, before there was Nier at all, there was Drakengard. And Drakengard, believe it or not, was nothing like Nier at all. It was different, medieval fantasy, dark medieval fantasy. And you dealt with swords, dragons, magic, all other crazy matters of darkness during that age. And throughout the time, I would always see Nier figurines, A2, 2B, 9S, and we'll even see some from Nier Replicant as well, which I'm thankful for, but I wanted something special. Like, when are we going to get some Drakengard figurines? Drakengard, like a Klein one. I'm still holding my breath on that one. But then, what about from Drakengard 3? Because no one really talked about Drakengard 2. And Drakengard 3 is where this entire story pretty much starts. Before Nier's timeline, before Drakengard 1. Drakengard 3 is the true timeline of this stuff. And one of my favorite characters in video games is the character named Zero. I know. A lot of characters named Zero. But how about a souvenir? So I've been waiting years for a perfect statue for me to collect. There are actually quite a few statues of Zero out there from Drakengard 3 from different sites made from China with great detail. However, some of them I didn't see that well because whether her body was just too thick or her composure was something I really didn't want. I wanted something that truly showed her essence, her aura, I would say, to capture it all. I never saw one until I found a site called E2046.com. Exactly, E2046. I kid you not, that's the name of the site. And I wasn't sure that they were legit at first. I had to do some reviews, look up some people talking about them, and they're legit. They're legit. So a couple of years ago, I put in a pre-order for their first ever Dragon Guard statue. I'm like, okay, let's give it a try. Fingers crossed, man. It cost me a pretty penny. Like, even the shipping and handling costs a great bunch, like crap. And I waited and waited, and it came out, and I had my hands on it. Finally, I had my hands on it. And I opened it up to see it was real. It was real. It's nice and detailed. Now, let me show you what it looks like. Let me show you its glory, its beauty. Gotta be careful. This is a statue. Now, behold. This is Zero from Drakengard 3. Now, her other name is a Souvenir before she became Zero. Now, this character has a very cool, interesting backstory. This is where everything started, before the Machine Wars, before the Shades, the Gestalts, before the Watchers. There were the Atoners, the Ladies of Song. And she was supposed to be the first most powerful Lady of Song. So if you don't know, from Dragon Guard 3, this is where I said already everything started. This is Zero. Her story is a sad one. At a young age, her mom sold her off into a brothel where she became a client. Well, not a client, but an employee there. She had to do stuff. And ever since then, all she knew was darkness and betrayal. She thought she could escape one day, but was betrayed by a friend. Then she escaped one day by poisoning people and then murdering them all. Then she'll continue to murder people to get food or clothes or whatever else she needs every single time. She was also given a sickness, and when the sickness got to her, she was captured, and there she was about to die. But at the same time, she was visited by a flower, this flower, and the flower was going to give her great powers to become a god. However, she realized that the flower was going to use her to destroy the world, mainly humanity. So she rejected this fate and was trying to off herself until the flower spread and turned into 5 other girls that became her sisters. And that's where the game begins. Zero's now quest is to go off and to slay her sisters before they destroy the world. Which is ironic because those sisters actually end up saving it first. They end up saving it, destroying all the corruption and all the evil, and making true eternal peace around the world. At least in their sections that they rule. Zero has to slay them because one day they will betray their own logic, they'll betray their own principles, and they will destroy the world. So she and her dragon goes around taking out her sisters. Now, is her story, does it end a good one? Well, it's up to you to decide. See, Asini's fate, Zero's fate, is pretty much her having a bad life. People using her, lying to her, betraying her. And when she thought she was finally able to die, this flower shows up, brings her back to life, and tells her it's going to use her to destroy humanity. It's not the fact that she cared for humanity or the world. It's the fact that she was tired of being used, tired of being betrayed. So she decided, I reject this fate. No one's going to tell me what to do anymore. And that's what she become. A defiance. A creature that will go against its own will, its own fate, in order for its own satisfactory. And she seems off as a crude person despite her look. She is very rude and crude, but she is beautiful and powerful. And I won't get any more than that, but this is her design. And gotta be careful. This is the thing she's standing on. She is literally standing on a dead guard. See, in the beginning of the game, you're listening to a guy who's narrating the peace that these 5 atoners are bringing to the world until she shows up, stabs the dude, and then starts killing all of these guards. Just killing them recklessly, and you kill tons of these guards, a lot of them. And the sad part is that some of these guards are actually pretty good guys. They believe in their atoners, the people who help make the world a better place, and they believe they're fighting for a great cause. So imagine this woman comes along and says, hey, all that peace you're enjoying, I'm going to take it away from you by killing the people who brought you that peace. That's messed up. So there she is, coming in, taking away all that peace. Now, a lot of this was pretty easy to put together. This is a magnetic thing. It's already pre-painted, so thank goodness. They do have non-painted ones, which are very cheap, but I'm not that talented when it comes to that. I had mine pre-painted and stuff, so it will cost a pretty penny. Now, what was difficult about this? I went to war with this thing. I went to serious war. But what caused difficulty? This, right here. This entire right arm. From the sword, to the hand, to the arm, heck, even to the bow. All this was difficult. Because one thing I will complain about, besides this beauty of the statue, is that some of the parts did not fit well. And I mean by you put the part where it belongs, but it will just fall out. It would have no grip to keep it attached. It was so loose. It was annoying. So what I do think is I have some super glue and also have my little brush I had. And I had to brush that bow on. That bow would not stay on unless I glued it together. It would not. This edge of this sword that you see back here, the sword which is actually a dragon's bone, a dragon's blade, this blade right here will not attach to the sheath, well, to the handle, because it will always fall out. Because it would not fit all the way. It would fit in, but it would be loose. And I had to, glue it in there. And I was trying to do that because I already had it in there. It's very fragile. Very fragile. So fragile that these little things inside the handle, you might not see it. These are flowers. All these are flowers. The flowers will just sometimes slowly fall out. They'll fall out. You can barely touch them, and they'll fall out. Like, why are you falling out? I barely touched you. So I had to get my glue again, get little tweezers, put the glue in there, and carefully place it in there because God, but it was worth it. And then try to keep the sword in there. Then the fingers came off. The fingers came off. The freaking fingers came off. I'm like, I barely touched you, man. I'm trying to slowly put the sword in there, and then the things were coming off, and then this was being all loosey goosey. And I'm like, oh my god, stay together. And once I had to carefully sit there, man. You know how it feels sitting there carefully in a hot room? I turned the fan, but I didn't want to turn the fan on because I was blowing away the other parts, and there was styrofoam and stuff around the place. So I had to be very careful. It's like this is just like brush, 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 and I had to take the little tweezers to make sure the hand fit back in place. I kid you not. I'm like, oh god, please don't screw up because they're very small. I don't want to lose them. I was down on a flat surface, by the way, when I was doing this, but I finally got it together, and it worked. It worked. It got good going, and I say it's still worth it because this is beauty. This is magnificent. I love this. Okay, no one says this statue is beauty. It's nice. Now these things cost a pretty penny, like I said. So it's like I'm gonna keep going on a side and constantly buying things, and they don't have payment plans or anything like that. So that sucks. But yes, this is nice, real nice. It's so beautiful. Like I said, there are other Dragon Guard statues out there of Zero, but none of them truly capture the beauty like this one. The other ones, she is way too thick sometimes. Way too thick, or she's way too lewd. And I don't want no one walking in my room one day like, yo, what's with that lewd statue over there, man? you ain't a gooner, are you? Like, you're not supposed to know that, but I don't want them knowing that. I just want them to say, hey, he's just like figurines, and that's it. But yeah, this is nice. Dragon Guard 3 statue of Zero. You know, I really wish Otaro, I know he's more always focused on the mirror section, but there's so much you can do as well with the Dragon Guard section. And Dragon Guard is just this piece of media that started off the Nier series. But I feel like if you're not a big fan of it, it's just been forgotten and no one really talks about it. Even though there's a lot of mystery going on between it. Also the cycle of time and space. A lot of stuff I want to talk about, but I don't have the time to talk about. But it's really good. Like I said, this statue is amazing. It's awesome. So once again, shout out to E2046.com for creating such a beautiful statue. It is nice. And only these kind of people will do it. So technically, this is an off-brand statue. So made by fandom and belief and passion. So props to these guys. They did a wonderful job. And I will be buying from them again in the future. I don't know what one to get. So I'll have to see from there. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell icon. This has been Macron. I'm Anime. Signing out.